Hey all, just thought I would do a quick little recap following the CIM event this past weekend. Obviously, you can see by the title, it was a bust. I didn't hit the Olympic qualifying standards of 2:18, so there will be no Olympic trials for me, which is a bummer, but that's, I guess, the way it goes sometimes. As I said in the pre-race video, I was pretty confident that I could have gone out with a little bit more conservative pacing, and if I would have gone out in 5:20s, I really feel like I could have been in the 2:20 range at the end of the day, but that wasn't the approach that I wanted to take. I wanted to give myself a legitimate shot at going 2:18. I set out to do that, ran with the group. There was about 100 guys at least who were all there wanting the exact same thing. So it was kind of it was a bit of fun going out with that many guys running really hard, and was able to stay with the group around mile 10. The quad started to get a little bit unhappy with the day. I just didn't have a lot of really hard miles or a lot of miles at that pace in the legs. I've been doing so much marathon or so much Ironman prep that that was the focus throughout the entire season, and didn't really shift that focus until after Ironman Florida. And so uh, I knew that was going to play a role. I didn't expect it to come in that early in the day. I was still sitting on good pace through 13 miles. I think I had about a 40-second buffer at that point. And then around mile 15, I was still on pace, but at one of the hills, that's where I kind of lost the group. And then there was a bit of a gap where it went from a big group of people to kind of just the people who've been strung out and had got spit out of the back. And we were going up a hill, and that, the elastic snapped, and I just wasn't ever able to reel them back in. Had a couple pretty tough miles where the legs really were unhappy with every step, and I was struggling just to hold Ironman pace for a couple miles, but was able to pull it together a little bit at the end, and finish with a couple decent miles at least, and come in at a high 2:22. So I am definitely welcoming the off season. My body is definitely tired. It's feeling the long season that I've had. My mind's ready for a little bit of a break too. But that also means that I'm entering the off season on another failure. And I was talking with some coaches, friends, families, and people in my group yesterday after the race. And a lot of them were pushing back on me using the term failure, and trying to tell me, oh, it wasn't a failure, it was still a good run. But the way that I set it up was, it was 2:18 or bust. It was pass or fail, and I didn't pass, and therefore I failed. But that doesn't necessarily have to be an awful thing. Yeah, failure sucks. I hate it. It pisses me off. But it's also what brings you back to the drawing board, and helps you try to figure out what you want to do differently, so you don't experience that again next time. And on the flip side, it's also what makes you appreciate the successes that you have when you reach your goals a whole lot more, and not take those experiences for granted. In a bit of ironic timing, I guess, as I was processing the race yesterday at the airport waiting for my flight home, a memory came up on my phone from the 2013 Ironman World Champs in Kona. It was my last race as an amateur, and I was just thinking about, like, my goal on that day was to win the overall amateur division, and I failed at that as well. But that's what led me to take my pro card. And then in 2014, my goal was to win a single paycheck. And that year I ended up winning Ironman Chattanooga. Came back in 2015. I had the goal of winning the North American Championships at Ironman Texas. In fact, I said it out loud at a podcast that I did leading into the event, and kind of got laughed at, and basically told I wasn't ready for something like that. And well, I guess I ended up winning that race as well. When I look back on the plane ride home at the list of goals that I've set each year, that I've been a professional, I realize that when I set goals that really stretch me, that make me uncomfortable, that accomplishing those goals are a whole lot more enjoyable, and the experience is a whole lot better than when you set a goal that's too easy and you reach it like that. It's great, but it's not the best feeling in the world, and that's what I'm chasing. Maybe I'm addicted to that, is that feeling that you get when you set a really, really high standard, a really high goal for yourself, and you're somehow able to achieve it. Those feelings are few and far between, but that's what keeps me coming back and coming back to the grind every day. As I said in the last video, if you reach all of your goals, you're afraid of setting high goals. So as I process the way that I want 2024 to go, I'm going to do the exact same thing that I always do, because that's what's got me to the point where I am now. I appreciate you all following me along on this journey. Make sure you hit the subscribe button on your way out so you can see me next time.